Hi everybody, today's lesson is on identifying variables. This will help you be able to plan and experiment both at home and during class. There are two kinds of variables and a control that you need to think about when you are working on planning an experiment. An experiment changes one factor and observes or measures what happens. So when you are doing a lab, you need to think about what it is that you are going to change or test. The control. The experimenter makes a special effort to keep other factors constant so that they will not affect the outcome. Those factors are called control variables. What is a control? It is everything that you are not actually testing or measuring. So everything from the kind of equipment that you are using to the paper that you write on. Everything should be the same over and over again every time you do an experiment. So the same person should be doing the lab, or the same paper clip or the same pencil should be used every single time that you do the experiment, so that you can't say that your experiment was affected by the brand of paper you were using, or the type of pen was different, or something like that. So that's why you need to make sure that everything you use is the same over and over again. What is the purpose of the control? The controls are the things that are usually not being tested. Like I said, the paper that you write on, the test tube that you put your chemicals in, the water that you get out of the tap. Those are things that you are not testing, but you're using for your experiment. Controls are used to compare. When you're doing a lab, you're going to have one thing that you are not testing on, and then the two things that you are testing, so that you can show that there truly is a change when you do your experiment. Variables. There are two other variables that you need to be familiar with, and those are the independent variable, or the manipulative variable, and the dependent variable, or responding variable. The factor that is changed, the thing that you are testing, is called the independent variable. The factor that you are measuring is the dependent variable. For example, if you were going to do a test on two pairs of scissors, you could, to see which one would cut faster, the independent variable would be the type of scissors that you are using, the two different kinds, and then what you would be measuring is the speed, or the time, the amount of time it takes to cut the paper. So here's some examples. For example, suppose you wanted to figure out the fastest route to walk home from school. You will try several different routes and time how long it takes you to get home by each one. Since you are only interested in finding a route that is fastest for you, you are going to do the walking yourself. So what are the variables in this experiment? Varying the route, the path that you would take to get home, would be the independent variable, because that's what you are testing. You're testing which way you go home is going to be faster. And then what are you going to measure? Time. Time is the dependent variable, or responding variable, because that is what you are measuring, how much time it takes you to get home. All right, so then we also have to have some controls. So the control is the thing that is not being tested, or the thing that stays the same every single time. And who is the control, or what is the control? Keeping the same walker throughout makes the walker a controlled variable. The person who is doing the same thing over and over again is the control variable. All right, so now you're going to practice. Here's a couple of examples that you can try on your own. Students of different ages were given the same jigsaw puzzle to put together. They were timed to see how long it took to finish the puzzle. So think about the independent variable. What are they testing? And what are they measuring? The independent variable is what they were testing. What were they testing? They were testing the different ages of the students. They were not testing different kinds of puzzles. They were testing students of different ages. So that is the independent variable. What was the dependent variable? What were they measuring? They were measuring time, how long it took to put the puzzle pieces together. Time was observed and measured by the scientist. Okay, ready for some more? What was the control variable? So what thing in there stayed the same every single time? The puzzle was the same. They didn't try different kinds of puzzles. They kept using the same puzzle but on different ages of people. All of the participants were tested with the same puzzle. And it would not have been a fair test if some had an easy puzzle and some had a harder puzzle. One more. The higher the temperature of the water, the faster the egg will boil. So remember, what are they testing and what are they measuring? Now this could be a tricky one, so pay close attention. What they're testing and what they're measuring. Okay, the independent variable, what they're measuring is the temperature. Yes, it's a number and you can measure the temperature. However, they're testing different temperatures. So that is the independent variable. That is what they are testing. And then what are they measuring? The time to cook the egg. So that would be the dependent variable or the responding variable. Okay. Let's see, do we have a control? The control variable would be the type of egg. So obviously, since they're boiling something, they couldn't use the same egg over and over again, but they would have to get the same type of egg, maybe even eggs from the same chicken, to make sure that that was not changing the outcome of their experiment. Okay, one more for you to do. And now is the time for our riddle. Since we're learning a little bit about variables, what gets wetter as it dries? Did you get it? A towel. Ha ha ha. Okay, so here's your last chance. Try again. The temperature of water was measured at different depths of a pond. So what were they testing and what were they measuring? Okay, so what we are testing is the independent variable or the manipulated variable. The independent variable, the thing that they were testing, was the depth of the water. Yes, again, it's a number, but every time they went deeper in the water, they took the temperature of the water. So the dependent variable would be the temperature, so because they measured the temperature every time they went deeper in the water. And what was this thing that stayed the same all the time? That would be your control. The control was the thermometer. That's the same thing that they used the same piece of equipment over and over again. Probably you could have also said that the lake or the water that they measured in was also a control, because that stayed the same. It was always the same water. There are usually several different controls in any kind of experiment. All right, so now that you know how to do this, and you've probably worked on the pages in your book, you can go ahead and work on the worksheets that are in the cabinet. Thanks, and have a great day.